morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Loud is clear. Loud is good. Loud is enough, right? Isn't it? Okay. Thank you so much for all those great introductory words. Well done. You did good research, by the way. Okay, as they mentioned, I'm Ganesh Kuppala. I'm senior manager. What is GCT? I don't know a lot of you. I know they mentioned GCT. GCT is global compliance and transformation. The whole world is looking at transformation, and you understand the word transformation, right? I'll go into details, but I deal with the world international taxes basically. I am based in London from 2016. As they mentioned, I worked in different organizations. I worked in Big Four organizations. How many of you heard of Big Fours? Okay, all of you are BCom students, right? Big Fours are Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, and EY are called Big Fours. The reason they are called Big Fours, they are the four biggest financial services organizations in the world, and they have presence across the globe. That's why they call it Big Four, right? They used to be Big Five before, after Arthur Andersen, which is then become split into Accenture and all those companies, right? I mean, a bunch of them. Then they became Big Four. It's only Big Four in the world now. So, as I said, it's Deloitte, EY, KPMG, and PwC, and I worked in all of them. Okay. So to start with, I'll quickly give you my introduction in terms of where I am, and then probably I'll talk about why I'm here today. By the reason, I think first of all you need to thank Mr. Shinmugam. We met last night in an event. UK Shadow Minister of Employment, Ms. Seema Malhotra is here. I came along with her, so we came here to meet for a business network meeting. And Mr. Shinmugam was there in that meeting, so we happened to meet him there. And then he invited me to come over and talk to you guys. That's the reason I'm here. So we all should thank who? Shinmugam. Okay. Let's give him a round of applause. All right. While I'm here, I think I don't want to give a lot of passion, okay, but I want to be more practical and learn from you, and also listen to your questions and then respond to those questions. But before that, I just want to give a quick journey of my career. As she mentioned already, I started with Deloitte in 2007, right after the college. I studied in Virugampakkam College of Commerce. I don't know how many of you know it. It's one of the top 10 colleges in India for commerce. After Sriram College of Commerce, how many of you know Sriram College of Commerce? Okay. Are you shy or you don't want to speak to me?
They are shy.
Okay, so Virugampakkam is one of the finest colleges in South India. That's where I graduated from, post-graduation from Virugampakkam College of Commerce. And after that, Deloitte picked me from campus. So I joined Deloitte in 2007 and worked in Deloitte for 6+ years. And I've worked in different roles. I started as an associate tax analyst, then moved to an analyst, then moved to team leader, assistant manager, and became manager. And post that, I moved to Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton is a fund manager. How many of you know funds, mutual funds, and all that stuff, right? Some of you are banking students here. How many are banking students by the way? Okay. How many BCom generals? Okay. BCom computers? No computer science. Okay. Accounting and finance. BCom accounting and finance. Okay. Brilliant. And so the reason I'm here to kind of give you. So a lot of us think, even when I was a student like you guys, right? So sitting in the classrooms, I was thinking, okay, I'm only doing graduation in BCom. How far can I go? What's my maximum limit, right? All of us will think about that, right? And when you talk about the career options and all, what is that I want to do? Do I go become a bank manager? Or do I go become an accountant? Or do I go and work for, do I become chartered accountant probably? Or do CWA, ICCA? There are plenty of other courses, right? So you think about various other things. But that's how I started as well. I was thinking what should I do now? And then when I was in post-graduation, it happened to me that my college invited Deloitte, like me. Somebody else from Deloitte came to our college and spoke to us, and we had a keen interest on taxes. And then I picked up taxes as a career. So the reason I'm here today to talk to you, all of you, to say that there's plenty of career options for BCom graduates. So if you are thinking I'm not an engineer, if you are thinking I'm not a doctor, forget about it, because I make more money than doctors. I make more money than engineers today. I think that needs applause, isn't it? Okay, so don't worry. Don't worry if you're thinking that being in a commerce student, can I do big things? You can do bigger things, very very big things. The world is full of economists. The world is full of commerce students today, and the world opportunities are plenty for BCom students. And the reason I'm here today is to explain you what career choices that you can take, what makes you to get into those kind of choices, right? I mean, it's not easy to. I don't want to say that it's difficult, but at the same time, I don't want to say it's super easy. If you don't work hard, I don't think you'll get there. But if you work hard, I'm sure no one can stop you to get there. Because I'll tell you, so a lot of I've been here in this industry for 15 plus years, and I'm also a motivational speaker. They didn't mention in my introduction, but I'll tell you an interesting fact. Okay, so when I joined Deloitte, there used to be CSR. How many of you know CSR? Corporate Social Responsibility, right? So as part of the CSR, I used to work with children of underprivileged, like most of our villages and all that stuff, right? They wouldn't have communication skills and all. So I used to go to schools and colleges to teach them communication skills and all. The reason why is because I only studied in Telugu medium all my life. I never studied in English medium. Can you believe it? I never studied English medium. But I've been roaming around the world for the last 15 years. I worked in US for 4 years. I worked in Middle East, Dubai and Saudi Arabia and all that stuff for 4 years. I worked in Europe for 6 years now. It is possible. What I'm trying to say is, you might be sitting in Tamil medium schools at some point. You might be sitting in underprivileged. You might be thinking that, we don't have opportunities. How can I go to London? How can I go to US? It is possible. If it was possible to me, it is possible to you. I am one of those underprivileged children, but I made it happen. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. How you can do it? Now the question is, okay, great words, amazing, super speech and all. It doesn't work, right? Practically, what works is your work. How it worked for me, because, as I told you, right, I know that I am competing with biggest chains in the market. When I got into the Badruka, I was talking to a placement coordinator, and I asked her who comes here, like which other companies comes here. And unfortunately or fortunately, I see that, I don't see the bigger names here yet. But if they come here, what happens? What do they look for, right? When I've been doing interviews, right, for 12 years plus, I've been interviewing people. The first thing I look at any candidate is, quote my words, 90% of the recruiters in this world looks at this. Skills can be taught. We look for attitude. We hire people who can learn things. We don't hire people who know stuff already and thinks that they know everything. We don't hire them. Because the reason, there is nobody in this world that knows anything and everything. Do you think everyone knows? Is there anyone that knows everything, including your principal?
No, sir.
No. So what is important is your willingness to learn. When you sit in an interview, right, for that 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever the interview you're sitting and talking to, the interviewer will be looking at, if I hire this girl or boy, first of all, I'm very happy there are a lot of girls here. Because women empowerment is one of our top agenda, even in KPMG. We want to empower women. We want more women to come up and work, which is happening very well. Western world, it is very normal, right? I mean, where I work in London, we don't have that differentiation. But unfortunately, in India, we have to agree that we still have a difficult place. So that's the reason we encourage, more women to come up and work. So we give flexible working hours to women. And we give, if somebody is going for maternity, we give them a year of leave, which is unusual. And not only we, like most of the big fours does it. And we let them come back and work with us. Even if you're if they say that, I have a small baby now, can I come back after a year? We are fine. We let you take care of your baby and come back and work. The reason I'm telling all this is, when we do that, when we like that employee, how do we like that employee? How do we hire them? We hire them because of their willingness to learn. So the first step for you to get into any job market or becoming entrepreneurs, right? So don't aim for only jobs, guys. That's what I want to say. We want more entrepreneurs. We want more people. Okay, I joined a job and become something else. Maybe I'll be a partner tomorrow. Partner is the highest stage in any of the big four companies, right? And I'm sure I'll be very, very soon partner. Okay. So, but once I reach there, I'm still an employee, right? But there are people who creates jobs. There are people who create companies. I think you should focus on that area as well. So So how does this work? So I want to dissect that. Okay, I'll quickly tell you a story. I told you, right, why I wanted you guys to. The reason I'm here is when Mr. Shinmugam spoke to me, he said we are a new baby, we are still learning and I loved his statement. He said nobody to somebody. Do you know this theme?
Yes, sir.
Your college theme is nobody to somebody. I loved it. That's when I said yes to him because I was nobody just 15 years back, and I'm somebody today, and I'll be super buddy someday. Right? So what happens in this journey is, okay, I'll quickly tell you. I'll not take a lot of time because I want to take a lot of questions. But I studied in JPH school, Jilla Parishad High Schools. You know what we call it. I don't know how Tamil Nadu calls them, but we will have government schools, right? That's where I studied. And I studied in a government college. I studied in government schools. I studied in Telugu medium. I never studied English medium. All that stuff. But the moment I got into Bhadruka, I've seen this world. It's a very difficult place to live because people were scoring very high. People are speaking very good English. How do I do this? Then I started working very hard on me. And I love the quote in your room, ma'am. Your limitation is you. The only thing that can limit you is you. If you want to achieve bigger things, nobody can stop you. Believe me, take my words. If your principal can bring 100 rupees document also, I can sign it. If you work hard and if you fail, you can come and ask me, I'll pay you every month's salary. There is no way that you'll fail. No way. People will tell you, there is cynical people, there will be negative people around you, they'll say that, kuch nahi hoga, sorry, I'll get in Hindi. So people will keep on telling you, right? People will come and say, no, nothing will work out. This world is crap. It's a bad world, negative world. No one hires you. Only rich people get this. I'm not rich. I wasn't rich, but I am rich today, by the way. I wasn't rich. I make a lot of money today, but it is possible because I worked hard. I can't keep on criticizing the society. It doesn't work that way. The society is for winners. Society is for success people. Society is not for critical people. This society respects Swaminathan. The society respected Abdul Kalam. The society respected Sundar Pichai, Google CEO today. A boy coming from Tamil Nadu became Alphabet CEO. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Happens, boys. It happens, girls. Just believe it happens. Don't think that we don't have that facility. Don't think that I'm not studying from NITs. I'm not studying from IIMs. I'm not studying from IITs. I'm giving an example. I'm standing in front of you. I've been introduced as a person coming from London, UK, senior manager, NRI. It's all true. But 15 years back, I was a student from a small village, having no knowledge of anything. And I'll tell you one more thing, right? Beyond all this, there was one more serious pain point for me. I was an orphan. I had no parents. And I started working at the age of 7-year-old. I started working in exhibitions. You know trade fair exhibitions? You guys go to trade fair exhibitions, giant wheels and all. Room. I used to work in those exhibitions, sell balloons and all that stuff. Started working at the age of 7. Earned for my own studies. Studied my own stuff. I had no parents. I was sleeping on streets. Literally sleeping on streets. I used to have a meal once a week. I have my childhood friend also here. He can watch for me. I used to go to his house for food sometimes. I used to have food in different people's places, man. Can you believe it? But it is possible. And even then, I never criticized society. I never said the world is like, no. World is a beautiful place. I was doing an interview yesterday. One of the very famous anchors called me, so I went there and I was in a TV interview. And they asked me, like, if you have to say, how do you define life? How do you define this world? I said, life is full of opportunities with very few problems. Unfortunately, 99% of this world looks at those few problems and stops there. Right? We always talk about problems. But if you just crack that problem and go beyond it, it's full of opportunities. There is so much in this world that we can do. But the only way you can do is you have to cross that bridge of problems. If you stop there and criticizing, I'll tell you a classic thing, right? And people will say, I used to speak to, I went to NIT, ma'am, I'll tell you. NIT Chichi, all of you know, NIT? National Institute of Technology. I was doing a lecture just like this. I was doing a lecture in NIT Trichy a few years back. And I spoke in the session and I said my story and all that stuff. A girl came up after my session. I was just crossing the door and she came up and said, if you would have not come today, my mom and dad would have seen my dead body tomorrow. because she was actually planning to go for a suicide that evening. She was literally, ma'am, this is exactly what she said. I was crying I had tears in my eyes. I was like, you are studying in MIT, the finest institution. You are the brightest student of this world. Why the hell you want to die? Why? And then she started telling me some problems, okay? And according to me, those are not problems at all. But the reason I'm telling you guys, so don't get me wrong, okay? The reason I'm telling you this story because a lot of you, if you go back and question yourself, if you're true to yourself, honestly, right? You studied all this stuff, you said, very good citations, what do you call it as? Kadal, what is it? We started with prayer, right? What is it called? Yeah, great words and all, right? But are you following them? Are you just saying them? Are you learning from them? You are speaking to teachers, you have AVM, the man, such a legend starting in front of your college. Are you learning anything from them? Are you just coming in? Do you think all of them got success just like that? They would have gone through a hell lot of struggles. I'm telling you as an example, right? If I eat on Wednesday, I didn't have meal on Thursday. If I ate on Saturday, I didn't have meal on Sunday. That's how I lived my life. But today my kids eats a meal in Falaknama, which is like 15,000 rupees worth each meal. But that is possible. I'm not telling you to boost myself. What I'm telling you is, a boy who had no meal for days can earn meal 15,000 per meal. Per meal as in like, I don't know what you say. One meal, right? One meal, 15,000 rupees I can pay today because I'm making money. How is it possible? If I would have stopped there where I had no meals and gone and joined antisocial elements, I would have done that, right? I would have been a rowdy on the street gangs and all. It is possible, right? Because I was on the streets anyways, I would have had friends from streets. I would have done a lot of wrong things. Is there a possibility or no? What is the possibility? Highest possibility is me becoming a bad guy, right? Because I was being harassed by the society. I was not given opportunities. I was sleeping on the streets. If you literally think about practically, even if I would have become a goon, right? A goonda rowdy, society would have not said anything to me. They would have been sympathized with me because this boy had no parents. That's why he became like that. That's what we say generally. But I did not become that. I wanted to be a superstar. I came out and I was doing very well in India, but I was not satisfied. I wanted to go. I want to hit the world. What is the financial capital of the world? Do you guys know what's the financial capital of the world? Do you know where all the financial banks headquarters are? In London. You guys know this? London is the financial capital of the world. I wanted to rule the world. That's why I chose London too. I went there and I'm leading the global teams today. That's why I wanted to say, what is GCD? It's not a general tax role. I'm leading global compliance. I lead 190 countries. Tax practice. It is possible. It is possible when you think you can do it. I speak to various people. I was telling principal ma'am, I speak to Philippines in the morning. I speak to Japanese in some time after. I speak to Malaysians. I speak to Americans. I speak to Canada. I speak to Mongolians. How is it possible? A boy who knows only Telugu as a language, now he speaks to the whole world. It's only possible because of the determination. It's because he wanted to do it. Right? So I want you guys to do that, okay? If I'm here today, I'm not aiming that all of you become superstars. I'm not saying that, okay? Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is at least have the vision which is big. जब आपका ड्रीम छोटा होता है ना, like when your dream is small, you can only achieve small. When your dream is big, you achieve big. Sundar Pichai, what else you need? Example of Sundar Pichai is much bigger than anything, isn't it? Satyanadilla, Sundar Pichai, where were they? They were here, just next to you. And do you know the value of Sundar Pichai today? He is the highest paid employee of the world. Do you know how much he gets paid? He gets paid more than countries' budgets. You know Alphabet's value today? Alphabet is Google's mother company. Their budget, as in the annual turnover, is bigger than 56 countries. 56 countries' revenue is smaller than one company. And that company is led by a Tamilian. Are you not proud of it? And Microsoft is led by Telugu guy, Satya Nadella. I am very proud of it. I tell that every day to people sitting next to me. And by the way, KPMG UK is led by Beena Mehta, who is Indian. Deloitte is led by Puneet Ranjan. Deloitte, the whole Deloitte, the global Deloitte CEO is Puneet Ranjan, who is an Indian. Shiva Nadar, HCL. What names am I taking? Am I taking anything that you don't know? All of those kids were sitting somewhere like you guys only. But they all dreamt big. They thought we want to do big. Even in today's session when I was speaking, I said, I'll become a partner very soon. I don't know whether I'll become or not. But I said this in front of everyone. Now I'll be conscious. I said to 200 students, standing there tall, and said, I'll be a partner. If I don't become a partner, I'll be guilty of myself. I want to achieve that. So I'll set milestones. My milestones are bigger. So this is the second message I want to do. First message was determination, okay? Aim big, you can, but determine to do it. So, because jab rasta chota, like, when the way is small, you can only travel so much. When the way itself is big, you travel more, you learn more. When you travel more, when you learn more, you earn more. When you earn more, you win more. The hungerness, like, when do you eat more? When you're hungry, isn't it? When your stomach is full, will you eat more? When do you eat more? When you are hungry. When you achieve more. When you have hunger for achievement. When you want to achieve. I want to do this. You have to go and tell your principal and placement officers, whoever it is. You know what? I'm going to crack Deloitte. You know what? I'm going to crack KPMG. You know what? I'm going to crack EY. Just tell me what is the biggest name that you have. I'll tell you one story, okay? I think Satish knows it already, but I'll tell you quickly. In my intermediate, as I said, I was orphan, right? So I was only going to government schools and I wanted to go to best college. So I went to a college which was the best in the city. So I went to them, like your principal, there was a managing director, and I went to him and I said, I don't have money, but I want to study only in this college. And at that time they were charging 10,000. I'm talking about 20 years back. 10,000 per annum. I said I had no money, not even 1 rupee. But I want to study in this college. And he was like, are you mad? Why would I give you admission if you don't have money? I said, if I give you a district top, would you give me admission? Believe me, this is exactly what I said. If you want to check, go and check Google. You will see all my YouTube videos. I'll tell you a story now. I played KBC. You guys know KBC, right? Kaun Banega Karodpati. I was a participant in Kaun Banega Karodpati. I told the same story there to Nagarjuna as well. And you can see, you go and Google Ganesh Kuppala, my name. You'll find hundreds of videos. I did a lot of shows, TV shows. I did a lot of English TV shows. I've been interviewed by ministers of UK. All this stuff happened because of my determination. Not because I'm superstar, because I wanted to be a superstar. It's not about, coming with the silver spoons and golden spoons, what do you call it as, right? I came up with the golden spoon. It doesn't work that way. Sundar was not golden spoon boy. Satya was not a golden spoon boy. Shiva was not a golden spoon boy. Neither of them. They were all very normal people. Abdul Kalam, the greatest example. He was in these streets, he had no food. Rameshwaram is the smallest town then, right? But President of India, missile man of the world. And there's a Scientist Day on his name. Today, the whole world celebrates Scientist Day on the name of Abdul Kalam. What else he can achieve? But how was it possible? Because of his determination. So I went to that college. I have to tell this, okay? I went to this college and said, I will do this. So he said, no, I can't give you admission. I said, if I give you a district top, would you give me admission? He was like, are you kidding me? I said, no, I'll give you district top rank. And I did that. In intermediate, I was a gold medalist. I scored district tops. And I've been awarded by Chief Minister of the Andhra Pradesh then. How that happened, that boy, not about today, not this fat, heavy man, but that boy who was 15-year-old, determined to do, because wisdom was the only equalizer for him. He had no money, right? I had no money. So what is that I can sell to the world? My knowledge. Right? So I started selling the knowledge. I started challenging everyone who came in front of me. I said, I'll give you district top. Would you give me rank? Then I went to my graduation. They said, okay, he's a district topper. So let's give him free seat. So then I studied in free for whole my life. I never paid anything, but I only studied after 10th standard. I never studied in government institutions. I studied in all private institutions only, but I paid not even single penny. Instead, they paid me money. Because I was scoring. I was district topper and then I was university topper. I was cracking every exam because I realized this is the only way to win the world. You're getting my point? You guys understood? If there is a neat topper, don't you think people will come to their home? Somebody who's scoring the best in 10th standard, don't you think all these big name colleges will go to their home and bring them to the admissions, right? Why that happens? Because of the knowledge. What are they selling? They're selling the knowledge. So whatever you have, what I generally tell is like, even if you go to a TV shop, ma'am, the boy, as a salesperson sitting in the TV shop will tell you 100 features of the TV. Sound is amazing, LED, quality of the picture is amazing and all that stuff. If a TV which is no life has so many characteristics, me being a man with such a knowledge, how many characters should I have? Don't I sell myself to the world? Should I not? I should. And that's what they did. Do you think Satya Nadella has become a Microsoft CEO just like that? No. He would have spoken to people and he would have challenged them. I'll show you this. And he made it happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you today, if you possible. I don't know how many of you can do this. But whosoever can do this. My aim is always one, okay? If I'm meeting 200 people, I want only those two who will be a superstars. But I don't know who they are. Maybe that's her, I don't know who that is. Maybe that's him, sitting in the last bench. I don't know who that is. But I know for sure, the third person is seriously listening to me now. I know for sure after 10 years, he or she is going to speak in a college and saying that one day a man came to me and said, I can achieve and I can kick this world with success. And I listened to him. Today I am here. I'm sure it is going to happen. Because I've seen that happening. 10 years back, I spoke to a few students and I'll tell you the biggest proud moment for me. Recently, one of my students have cracked UPSC Civils. I was speaking to him just 10 years back, just like this. And he called me and said, you know what, Ganesh? You spoke to me that day. I'm an IPS officer today. It happens. Believe me, it happens. But the only thing you have to do is just promise me one thing, okay? I don't want anything from you. Just one thing. Can you be true to yourself? You don't have to tell the world. Just be honest to yourself. You know your strengths, right? You know your weaknesses. You know the opportunities that are eating you. You know the threats that are against you. You do the SWOT analysis on you? Did you guys do that? I don't know. Do you guys do this in the schools? I think they should be doing it. If you're not done yet, go back home, sit and do one thing, okay? If your name is Ganesh, start the paper with the name Ganesh. Start writing what's Ganesh. Forget about Ganesh is you. Okay? Forget about that. Just start analyzing Ganesh. What's Ganesh's strength? Ganesh has a very good voice. Ganesh can communicate well. Ganesh has no fear. Ganesh can start in front of 200 people, can deliver speech. Start writing. Then weaknesses. Ganesh cannot run 100 meters in 10 seconds. I cannot. Accept it. What's wrong? Don't bring your egos into life. I cannot walk like you. I'm heavy. I cannot run like you. I'm happy to accept in front of 200 people. I'm heavy. What is the problem? Right? It could be genetic. It could be anything. Don't be a loser because of weaknesses. You're getting my point? The world will show weaknesses. The world will come and poke you on your weaknesses only. People will come and say, I'm so good, right? With a lot of other stuff. There will be a boy who comes and says, there will be people who's watching me on YouTube. He's so heavy. What's the point? Do I have to go back and respond to him? No. Because I'm too busy with my stuff. I have so many things to achieve. What I'm trying to say is, I'm just giving as an example of me because I don't want to take anyone else's example. People might say, you don't have good English. People might say, you're not good enough. People might say, you're such skill. One of the skills is not good. But instead of people listening to people, okay, listen to yourself. Write your strengths. Write your weaknesses. Wherever you have weaknesses, accept them. There's no problem. People will have faults. There's nobody in this world who's 100%. Impossible. There's no one, including Einstein. Do you know what Einstein said? Einstein said in one of the interviews, how much do you think you have used your brains for? Einstein, who invented E equal to mc square, the whole world runs on E equal to mc square, isn't it? You guys know Einstein, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So that guy, being finest scientist of the world, said, I did not even use 1% of my brain. If Einstein did not use 1%, what have we used? Right? So it's all about us. So accept it. There is nothing wrong. That's the second thing, okay? Write about your strengths, write about your weaknesses, understand yourself. Whole world is watching you. If you don't watch yourself, you will be a loser. Don't get me wrong, but that is the reality. You all go to barber shops, right, boys? Right? You go to do the haircut. What do we talk in the haircuts? Virat Kohli did not do a cover drive well. Don't you hear that? In the barber shops, we see that Sachin did not play well. That shot would have been like this, that not like this. We hear that, right? Or we talk about, Stalin should have done this, not this. Or about Narendra Modi. Don't we hear that? What's interesting is, that barber don't even know how to do the haircut. He talks about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The problem of this world is we don't know about ourselves. We talk about everyone else. This is the reality. Don't you agree? Girls, you know it very well as well. When you force it, accept it. We talk about others. Isn't it? And what do we talk about others? We talk about positive stuff? No, right? We start criticizing people. Look at her hair. Isn't it? Like that powder is not good, man. I don't know what kind of perfume is that? Oh, yak. It's not smelling good. All that stuff. No, I heard that. I've been in colleges, right, as well. So what I'm saying is your energies, all your energies is going in useless stuff. If you channelize your energy well, you will be superstars. Believe me, you will be. And I'm sure you will call and tell me, ma'am, after 10 years, you will hear from one of these students and telling that they are superstars. It is possible. The only way to get there is focus on yourself. Antarmadhanam is what they say in Sanskrit. I don't know if you know this word. Introspection. Right? Before studying anything in this world, study yourself. What do you call it? X-ray, right? X-ray lens. Wear X-ray lens and study yourself. Understand your everything. What is my strength? What is my weakness? If you know that 50% of job is done, then you will focus on your strengths. If you can work on your weaknesses, which is good. But if you know that there is a permanent weakness that you cannot fix it, don't worry about it. Accept it. The moment you accept your faults, you will be very happy about them. As long as you hide them, right? We hide our faults. If I don't have good communication skills, I stop speaking. Isn't it? That's what we do. If there is a person who's speaking very good English, I'm not good at English, for example, I'll not speak only. Or I'll avoid that circle. I don't know, these three people, I don't speak to them anymore. Because they always speak in English. You know what I'm saying? So, this is the problem. If you understand that problem, then go back and speak to them and say that, okay, you know what? I don't have good communication skills. Can I learn from you? What's wrong in asking? One of my partners, when I joined Deloitte, told me that the first thing he told me, smart people ask for help. Remember this. Only smart people ask for help. Only dumb people be shy. If you are shy, don't get me wrong, okay? Don't criticize me, don't troll me afterwards. But if you're shy and if you're not opening up yourself, if you're not asking for help, how would the other person know that you need help? We are all not astrologers, right? I don't know your biography. I don't know about anything. If you come and ask me, while I'm here, if somebody comes and asks me, can I get your email ID or can I ask you about this professional question or something else, then I probably will be able to help you. But if you hide in a shell and don't want to open up, how would the world know about you? Right? So the third and final ask from me to you, I don't know if you're making note of this, is please come out of that shell. There's a word called, I don't know if it is same in Tamil, it's called Kupastha Mandukam, which is frog in the well. Right? Don't be the frogs in the well, okay? What is it? Yeah, that word, yeah. She'll tell you what that means. So in the well, you know the well, right? The frogs in the well, they don't come up. Even if one tries to come up, no, it will stop. The remaining of them, they'll keep on dragging them down. And you will find such kind of people everywhere in your life. Okay, when I completed my plus 2 and I said I'll go and do this, my class used to be 60 people. Almost 59 of them said you can't do it. Believe me, you can't do it. That's what they told me. No, you can't do it. You're a Telugu medium student. They said you're going for Deloitte interview. You think you can crack it? I said yeah, I can crack it. They said like no. It's not for people like you. It's for people who studied in convents and all those stuff. Because Deloitte interview is very difficult. I don't know how many of you know. But the first test itself is English test. You have to clear English test to go to the technical test. And I was a Telugu medium student, and everyone told me that you cannot crack it because you have no clue what it means. But I cracked it. I was a topper. Whenever they challenged me, I kicked it very hard. Whenever anybody challenged in this world, I said my answer very, very strongly. And that's exactly what I want you to do. Come back and give the reply with your work, not with your words. A lot of our leaders say that, right? I don't know how you say it in Tamil, but baaton se kuch nahi hoga. Like, it's not about words, it's about actions. Once your action speaks, they speak much louder than your words. So do that. So come out of shells, work hard, determine, you will achieve. And if you are not achieving, as I told you, I'll give you a writing in 100 rupees bond paper. If anyone can challenge me and come back and say, you know what, Mr. Ganesh, on 2nd of August, you came to our college and said, if you work hard, you will be successful. You are crap. I worked hard. I was not successful. If you come and tell me, I'll pay you on from that day to whole life, I'll pay you salary. But can you be true to yourself? When you say I worked hard, what do you mean by working hard? Do you know what is working hard? Working hard means version 2 of yourself every day. I'll stop with this. This is my last statement. Version 2 of yourself. Did you get that? What is version 2? You know iPhones? iPhone releases versions, different versions, right? 1, 2, 3, it's 14 Pro now, is it? Do you think every version is similar? 14 Pro is equal to 14? Is it? No, right? It is advanced. Similarly, every individual should be a different version every day. If I know 10 things yesterday, I should be knowing 11 things at least today. And the next day, I have to increase. So if you focus on your version 2s every day and say that, I can challenge, I'm a version 2 from yesterday. And the next day I do. So that's what I focus on every day as well. Even today, I promise to myself that if I haven't learned anything on a day, I will not have meal. That's my promise to myself. Anything, it could be anything. It could be artificial intelligence, it could be science, it could be commerce, it could be some new person, it could be a biography or something. But there should be valuable thing that I should be learning on that day. Otherwise, I'm not eligible to have a meal. Why are we eating, by the way? What have we achieved to eat? Other than biryani, like every day you eat biryani, isn't it? As in, like whosoever is eating. Are you eligible for the biryani? What is that you achieved to eat that? You have done nothing to eat. If you're having very good meal, if you're wearing very good dresses, what is that you have achieved to do it? Do something big in your life so you can always appreciate your work and be eligible for that meal. I'm not being too hard on you, but don't do that, okay? Have your meals. But I'm saying, as a promise, just promise to yourself. Should I be doing something better tomorrow? If I'm not doing better tomorrow, I'm liable to myself. You don't have to explain the world, okay? Don't worry about the world. But answer to yourself. With that, thank you so much. By the way, as I told you, everything is possible. A man who was orphan became KBC contestant, sat with Nagarjuna, sat with all the prime ministers, leading the global team. All that is possible within just 15 years. I'm not too old, okay? Don't get me wrong. Okay, people might be thinking he's telling so many success stories. How old is he? I'm only 37. Okay? I started at the age of 23. 15 years I've been working, but I've achieved everything in this last 14 years. It is possible. It is even more possible for you guys. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. I'm sure everyone is willing to take challenges in their life. So, if anyone is interested in asking questions, please step forward.
The question is why did I choose tax? When did I think that I can choose tax? Okay. I chose tax as a career option when I realized that tax is the field that nobody can avoid in this world. Go to any country in this world, Okay, and when I realized when I was doing my Master of Commerce, so I was going through various subjects, okay, and I wanted to kind of pick up a career which excites me every day. Okay, when you choose a career, make sure that you are loving that career. Otherwise, it's a very difficult path to go, because if you don't like something, you will not be super successful. I love taxes. Believe me, I love taxes. You might be hearing this for the first time, but I love taxes because tax keeps on changing. Right? In India also you have seen the tax rate changes, GST comes in, VAT comes in, something else comes in. It's always changing world. The only place that can be such changing, I thought, in my stream, I'm not saying every stream, my stream of education, tax is the only place where that can be super dynamic. And I say dynamic, changing every day, right? So that's when I thought, because I'm a person by my personality, right? I'm a person who likes new things. Otherwise, I'll get bored very quickly. You would have noticed in my whole career progression, in the last 14 years, I've changed 6 companies. And I did not work in any company more than, I don't want to say that, but yeah, I'm a person who likes to, I want something new, challenge. Give me more. Otherwise, I'll be bored. You know what I'm saying? If I'm very comfortable at some place, I'll leave the company. Somebody asked me in the recent interviews, he was like, I was in Deloitte Middle East, okay? I was getting good money. I was getting paid 8-9 lakhs per month, which is very good for commerce, for example. Do you know anybody who gets paid 9 lakhs per month with just Master of Commerce? I have not done MBA. I'm not a chartered accountant. I did not do any of that. But my salary was 9 lakhs per month. Okay? And then when I went for London stuff, right? So they asked me, why are you coming here? Because you have good package, you have a good... Then I said I was very comfortable, so I'm leaving. It's an unusual answer, isn't it? Because wherever you're comfortable, you want to say more, isn't it? But for me, I'll be very uncomfortable if I'm comfortable. I don't know if you understood that. I'll be very uncomfortable if I'm comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you don't grow. You know amoeba, right? How many of you know amoeba? Octopus, amoeba. Do you know the growth of amoeba? It grows from everywhere. I'm like that. I grow from everywhere. By personality, by the looks also, I grow from everywhere. Okay? See, that's how I wanted to be. That's the reason I chose tax as a field, because it excited me. When I was reading, two fields actually excited me the most: law and tax. But law, I didn't want to choose law, because at that time, law didn't have international exposure. Now you have international exposure, but I wanted to go to US immediately, because the whole world, software engineers and all of them, you know, right, how this world is. They used to be carrying laptops. I'm talking about 2007. The fancy jobs were IT services, right, man? IT services were the fancy jobs. So I thought, okay, but I'm studying BCom. How can I do this? So I thought, okay, Deloitte is the only place I can do this. I wanted to go to US immediately. I joined in 2007. In 2008, I went to US. Within 1 year, I went to US. Because I worked very hard. I used to work for 2,000 hours a year, 1,800 hours a year. Every day I used to work 14 hours. And my boss used to come, no, you don't have to do this. Your job hours only 9 hours. I'm not saying you should do this, okay? It's only I'm telling my example. I'm not telling, you go and work 14 hours. Now you don't have to. I only work 7 hours today. Okay? That's because the world completely changed. 15 years back, it's all about lot of work. Now it's more of smart work, bringing up new apps, bringing up new services. That's the world today. So don't work hard, work smart only. But that's how I choose my path, and it's a beautiful career. If none of you have thought about tax as a career, right? I'm telling you, tax are very highly paid profession. I don't know if you know this. Even in India, if you crack any of GST, CST officers are very well paid. Okay, and everybody gives respect to you. If you're a tax man, even Chief Minister stands and says hello to you. No, believe me, that is true. Because the only person who the whole world is scared of is tax person. And I wanted to be that person. That's why I chose tax as a career. So, if you haven't thought about tax as a career, please do think about it, because there are very good opportunities across the world. Not only in India, okay? I'm not talking about India. Whole world has brilliant tax opportunities, because even countries like UAE, Dubai, right? Where there were no taxes before. Even UAE is introducing tax. UAE has introduced corporate tax now from 2023. So if you are a budding, like how many third year students here? Third year. Oh, most of you are third year. Okay, brilliant. So if you haven't thought about tax as a career, immediately look into that. Maybe I'm not pushing you, okay? I'm not being that parent that everyone you should study engineering only. I'm not saying that, okay? But I'm saying look into that also as an option. And finance and tax are very, very highly paid skill sets in the world. People will come back and tell you, we think that doctors are highly paid. That's not true. That's not actually true. Engineers are highly paid. That's not true. London School of Economics, I don't know how many of you heard. How many of you know London School of Economics? LSE, London School of Economics. Imperial College of London. Harvard? Oxford? Okay. Most of these universities, if you go and study their statistics, the highest paid departments are economics, commerce, tax. There is technology as well. I'm not degrading technology. But because we are in commerce, I'm speaking the commerce language. I'm not saying artificial intelligence is less paid. No. Robotics is highly paid. Artificial intelligence is highly paid. Machine learning is highly paid. But the interesting fact is, even tax people can do machine learning. We had a tool while I was in EY, which is completely machine learning tool, but tax people manages it. So for you guys go and do this. How many of you know Musk? Musk? Have you ever seen the vans, the trucks with Musk? They're the biggest shipping company in the world. How many of you know Shell? Shell Petroleum. Okay. All of them, when you go and Musk shipping, if you do, there's they invented machine learning algorithm, which actually the moment you invoice it, the debit and credit entry will be passed. You don't need accountants. They do this and the whole entries will be passed through the machine learning. So accountants also do machine learning. Accountants also use robotics. Accountants also use artificial intelligence. But the problem is we don't know that. The world thinks chartered accountants are the people who sits, or not chartered accountants. Chartered accountants is highly paid as well. But some of the people think BCom people will be those people who sits in the shops and writes about credit whatever that 3 golden rules are. Debit, credit. No, that's not the world anymore. It is completely changed. No one does entries, okay? No one does entries. There is Tally, there is 200 systems who does that. People don't do that anymore. If you're thinking that is the world, forget about it. Today's world is all about artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, RPA. I don't know how many of you know RPA. Robotic process automation, right? So all that stuff is true, and that is true income tax and finance careers as well. So that's a good question. I know lengthy answer, but I thought it's relevant to you. Especially for third year students, right? If you're thinking, okay, time let's see when it comes. You're too late already. So seriously think about your careers immediately and what you want to do. It's very, very important. If you don't choose the right career path that interests you the most, you might end up being in a place that doesn't suit you for a long time. You would go back and see, I don't know how many of you know, you would have heard very few people who are talking about lakhs of salary as an accountant. Isn't it? Very, very few. But there are a lot of other opportunities as well that is open for BCom students. That's what I wanted to say. Please don't stop yourself thinking that I can only go here, I can only be banker, you can be banker, you can be accountant, you can be a child accountant, you can be a CWO, you can be a SCA, you can be an enrolled agent. See how many I'm telling. Enrolled agents are highly paid in US. I don't know how many of you know. Enrolled agents is a course for tax people who represents like lawyers, right? You guys know lawyers, right? For tax, there will be tax courts separately, and enrolled agents are those people who represents the taxpayer in front of the departments. And enrolled agents is actually open in India now. You can go and study enrolled agents. It's a super easy course. If you're a good student, in 6 months you'll crack it and you'll be paid immediately 1 lakh rupee per month. Immediately. No? CPA, yeah. CPA is a bit difficult. Enrolled agents is super duper easy. Don't get me wrong, but that's EA is only for tax. CPA is for finance, audit, everyone. And if you can do CPA is open in India as well now. It used to be when I was studying, only if you have to write CPA exams, you have to go to US. Then they opened in Australia, then they opened in Dubai. Now you are open to write CPA exams in India. So career options are plenty. This is what I wanted to. Even I was talking to Mr. Shenmugam yesterday. I said, okay, good thing you did is like, you have few streams, but are you exploring the options of like what happens after BCom? Don't go in conservative. When I say conservative, don't go in that like horse attitude. You know the horse attitude, right? Like only one side horse watches. That's not. Today's world is about 360 degrees. High, like left, right, back, front, everywhere you have to watch because there are plenty of opportunities. Okay? And tax, being a taxman, I'm telling you, tax is a beautiful career. Yeah? Yeah, any other questions? Boys, yeah, there's a question. Yeah. What's the time? Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Hi.
Sir, actually, I'm also working under a KPMG associate partner.
Oh.
So I'm a CA final student doing my articleship, and I work in financial due diligence in mergers and acquisitions.
Brilliant.
So I've done my CMA US also. I thought of getting into management consulting.
Okay.
And after I saw a journal, Wall Street Journal, there's a boom in US tax.
True.
So every Big Four is going to double its workforce in India also. So most of this are outsourced in India. So even I am doing my enrolled agent also. I am going to appear in November examination.
Brilliant. See, there's already a very good. Good job, guys.
So I thought of moving into US in the fall of 2025. And the one disadvantage is only I can get a 3 years OPT if I do a master's in US. And I'm thought of doing in Cleveland. And I also have a partnership with the Video Alliance, which is top 5 in Big 5 and also concentric. So if I join KPMG GDS in Bangalore, will they give me a direct H1B visa sponsorship?
No, they won't. Okay, so KPMG does give H1s. KPMG does give visas, but it doesn't happen based on your education. Because you're a EA, they don't give you visa. They give you visa because of your work. If you're working very well in the organization, there is an opportunity in US. If you appear for the right opportunity and if they select you, I told you, right, Deloitte sent me to US within 1.5 years of time. I'm talking about 15 years back, where there was no EA and all, and US market was looked completely different. I was US tax person for first 10 years, then I moved to international, right? So first, those days were very difficult to get US. You know what I'm talking about. So today itself it's very difficult, but then it was even more difficult. But it worked for me because I used to work very, very hard and I created the opportunity myself. So there used to be old saying, right? Opportunity knocks your door, open it, it comes to you. You know what I'm saying, right? That's old, okay? My saying will be don't have the doors. Let your doors be open only. Why the hell you need doors? Let the opportunities come and flow. Whatever is you like, you pick it up. Opportunities coming, knocking, you opening the door and all. Both time like that. It takes a lot of time. Instead, let's not have the doors. No? Let's be open. Let's look for the opportunities or whatever comes in. Like, you're going and sitting in a classroom and you see somebody artificial intelligence speaking, Thomson Reuters, for example, or somebody from a tech company coming and speaking and he thinks, okay, this software needs an accountant. Jump in and say that, I know it's a software company, but I'm an accountant. I can contribute. Let's do this. That's all you have to do. So what I'm trying to say is don't limit yourself. Every field needs accountants. Every field needs finance guys. Every field needs tax guys. If you're stopping yourself with only banks, if you're stopping yourself with only Big Fours, including being Big Four also I'm saying this. Big Four is amazing career option, okay? Finest that all commerce can think of. But don't stop there. If Big Fours for some reason it's not working for you, don't stop there. Go and look into something else. As I told you, right? All the artificial intelligence companies are looking for accountants today. All the machine learning softwares developers need accountants because they need to write the program related to your golden rules. You know what I'm saying, right? 3 golden rules. That's what they have to write the program for. So they need you. But yeah, all the best to you. But to answer your question, no one will give you visa based on your education. People will give you visa based on your work and if there is an opportunity in US. But I don't think it is difficult today. You will definitely crack it. So we'll be there. But crack your EA first. Crack your EA first.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, that's what I was telling. Don't wait for your course to complete. I think he's doing the right thing by choosing EA at the moment. Because if you finish EA, BCom with EA, Deloitte, EY, PwC, KPMG are ready to hire you immediately. Because they need enrollments. And US tax is booming highly. Everywhere. For example, like, okay, forget about US tax, okay? UK tax or any tax for that matter. India is the place because India is the fifth largest economy in the world at the moment. And is going to be third largest very soon. We are going to beat Germany very soon. I don't know how many of you heard about Narendra Modi's speech in US Parliament recently, very recently. Kamala Harris was sitting behind him. Joe Biden was sitting behind him. He said, we are fifth largest and we will be third very soon. And it's going to happen. It is going to happen. India is going to be the third largest economy in the world. And the moment third largest economy in the world. I'll tell you one interesting thing, okay? Recently we had India Week in London. What this India Week basically means is basically all the ministers across and business tycoons, all of them comes to London and sit together, think about what is that we are going to do for the next generation in India. And the narrative, when I say, I don't know if you understood the meaning of narrative, as in like the perspective of the Western world looking at India has completely changed. 5 years back, right, 4 or 5 years back, when we used to sit in such kind of conferences, the discussion used to be that, okay, how much you can bring to India? You know, can you bring some investments to India, That used to be the narrative, that used to be the ask. But the narrative in the latest India Week is completely different. It was more like, can India bring investments to UK? Can you believe it? We should be very proud of all the work that governments are doing here. And also, it's not about governments, right? Not only about governments. The brilliant fact about India is 60% of Indian population is less than 35-year-old. And we are the richest human capital nation in the world. You know human capital, like all of us, right? So 35 and below or 65%. Out of 140, like 1.4 billion people, close to 0.7 or 0.8 billion of them are less than 35-year-old. We are the richest human capital country. So world has no option than to come to us. So every jobs will come and knock your doors. So be ready for it. That's all I have to say. And everything I'm telling is facts, okay? You can Google, you can claim whatever you want to do, go and research. So that is very important, okay? I don't know how many of you are faculty here, but one thing I urge you, ma'am, is, and I do this in every college, as part of your curriculum, right? I know you will be teaching your courses and all, but at least do 30 to 45 minutes of research in a week, minimum. And that should be nothing to do with your courses. It has to be beyond your courses. It has to be about economy of the world. It has to be about opportunities in this world. It has to be about different career options in the world. Don't limit yourself to Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, whatever. At least when you're doing the research, do research across the globe. Can I go and work in maybe like Ontario? Have you heard of this country? Okay. Or like how about Canada? How about US? How about something else? Spain maybe? Norway? Right? So all these countries, and Norway has the best happiness index in the world. I don't know how many of you know. Nordic, Denmark, you know Denmark? France people only work 6 hours a day. Do you know that? Why do you want to work 9 hours a day then? If there's an opportunity in France, I'm not saying you guys should leave. What I'm saying is, explore, nothing wrong in exploring the options. If there is good options, and the world, see, those olden days have gone, okay, where people will be talking about, if you only live in India, that's when you are Desh Bhakti, you know, all this stuff comes in. No. Today, you have to rule the world, bring the money to India. Go and earn outside, okay? Spend in India. That's what I'll tell students. Because that's how the nation grows, right? If you sit here and you make 20,000 per month, is that a better Desh Bhakti, or whatever you call it as, patriotism? Or if I go out and make 10 lakhs and spend 6 lakhs every month in India, is that more good for country? Spending 6 lakhs is better for country, right? I'll get VAT, I'll get my taxes, purchase power increases, new products comes up, all this stuff. You know, I'll tell you one interesting fact. Tamil Nadu, you know Tamil Nadu's GDP, and I don't know if you guys do this, but all of you are BCom, you should know all this. So Tamil Nadu's turnover, the business income of Tamil Nadu is more than 30 countries' annual budget. 330 billion comes from Tamil Nadu manufacturing. There's so much happens across Tamil Nadu. Coimbatore, Vellore, yeah, and so much manufacturing. There's so much of like textile industry. Salem, is it? The Seven Hills, yeah. Salem produces the highest Tommy Hilfiger. You wear Tommy Hilfiger shirts? Those are manufactured in Salem. A lot of us don't know. And that's how Tamil Nadu is. Tamil Nadu is very, very powerful in manufacturing sector. So you have to kind of take advantage of all this around you, ecosystem, and develop yourself into a next generation resource. So you can look for opportunity across the world. That's what I can say. All right. Anything else? Only last question. What's the time? Time. Okay. I have time for one or two questions. Yeah. It can be anything. Career options. That's a good question. Anything else? How many of you are banking, by the way? Banking students. I'm not asking your property, okay? I'm only asking what course are you in? Okay. So you all want to be a bankers only? Okay, that's good. Okay. Also, I'll tell you, banking also have plenty of other career options, okay? Don't only think of your banks, okay? Banking is much bigger than only banks. You might be thinking banking is banks. That's not true. Banking is much bigger than banks. The fund industry, you guys, I was working with Franklin Templeton, mutual funds. So mutual funds, portfolio management is again very good opportunity. So you have to explore into that as well. And there's also, the hedge funds. I don't know. You're studying hedge funds and all that stuff. In your investment management is one of your subjects, and you read about hedge funds. Okay, not yet maybe, but hedge fund industry is very big as well. And you would have heard about venture capitalists, VCs. It's a very big industry. Venture capitalists pays very well, and all these companies has somebody from banking background, right? So see, today lot of surprises I have seen in the faces of people, okay, because you've never heard of these careers before, and the reason because you're not doing enough research. So that's the reason I'm asking you guys, go back, sit on the computers, use Google for good reasons. I know you use for a lot of other reasons, but use Google for good reasons. Do good research. There's plenty of opportunities. Okay? With that, I think if you don't have any questions, I'll close here. Oh, you have a question. Thank you. I have to probably drink water. It's a principal question. By the way, good selection of the picture. I look very nice there, right?
Thanks to Viscom department.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. My question is you have travelled a long way, right? And more to go. And my prayers and wishes for that on behalf of Avichi College. See, from college, after the college, from Delhi to as on now, did you develop through any net? You were very particular about developing a network to you or the known person with whom or through whom you can also travel, or you chosen some other path to travel, because that's not easy joke. It looks like a Padaipa movie of 3 hours of seeing, but how did from delight, how is it possible? And that nuances, there will be nuances.
That's a very good question, brilliant question actually. I think okay, kudos to you, ma'am. Very good question, because I wanted such kind of questions to come. The reason is, today's world is purely network world, okay? If you don't know good people around you, and if you don't build that network, it won't work you. She's absolutely right. Because I told you I changed 6 companies, right? Do you think it's easy? No. Especially when you grow the grades, it's very difficult to change companies. And the only way that worked for me is I never burned the bridges. There's a concept called burn bridges, right? I don't know. Okay, once you cross the bridge, you joined a company, you're going to leave to another company. What most of the people do is hate their managers. They don't maintain good relationships. They'll say bad words about their previous companies. right? It happens. You have to believe it, and it is true. All of you know. Forget about companies, right? You had friend, and you unfortunately had a breakup with a friend. You go back and say all the bad things only about that friend, isn't it? Even in your girlfriend boyfriend stories also. When we have the breakups, what we do? Most of the time we talk about negative stuff. Because of him, this happened, that's why the breakup happened. Similarly, the career also breakups happens. Breakup happens for a lot of reasons. But don't burn the bridges. Because I'll tell you one interesting fact. All the companies that I worked, ma'am, to answer your question, every company hired me because of my previous manager's referrals. My previous manager referred me to a different company. When I change the companies, so what I do is I sit on with them on the table and say XYZ whatever it is. Like say his name is Adam. I go and sit with Adam and say, Adam, you know what? I love this company, but I'm not learning more. I want bigger opportunities. Can I go and join something else? Is that okay with you? That's where I just start the conversations. But most of us will hide those conversations. I'll tell you, man, a lot of people work for me, right? I told you I manage the global practice. They'll not tell you anything. They'll suddenly leave the company. They'll not have discussions. They'll not have career progression discussions with the above the line managers and all. If you don't do that, because the person who judged you for 2-3 years, he knows your skill set very well. If you don't discuss with him and choose a wrong path, then who's the loser? We are the losers. So that's the reason I generally, what I do, ma'am, generally, whenever I leave a company, even before changing the company, I go to my previous company boss and speak to him first before attending the interview. It is a very, very risky thing to do. Very courageous people do this. But I tell them. When I left Deloitte also, I told my manager that I'm leaving Deloitte and I'm joining this company. I'm going for interview. And the other person sitting there is your friend. Can you refer me there? That's what I did. And he was happy to refer me because I was working very hard. And the world, see, I'll tell you, so one of recent interviews from one of the chief ministers of South India, I think KCR, he told the world is 90% good people and 10% bad people. Unfortunately, we listen to this 10% and think the whole world is bad. It's an amazing saying actually. Because we kept on listening to bad things, negative stuff, we think that everything is bad. Which is not true. Your bosses are good people, okay? Don't think that they are bad people. Especially if I'm your boss, I'll be a very good person, okay? If you're joining my company, superb, okay? So what I'm saying is, have those conversations, build the networks, don't burn the bridges. This is very, very important. Because what happens is, once we leave one company, we go to the other company, you know where the call goes? It goes to the previous company and talks about your conduct. They talk about your the reason for you leaving, all that stuff. And this is called background checks. They do all the background checks. And once they complete the background checks, if you don't pass the background checks, they don't even tell you why you failed the background checks, but they reject your offer. You think your previous company cannot do anything, but your previous company can do a lot of good things. I'm not talking about negative, okay? A lot of good things. If your previous manager said, okay, he's a brilliant guy, they will hire you happily, right? So it's very important to kind of maintain that relationship. It's a very good question in the career perspective, right? Don't burn bridges. Remember this word, okay? Never burn your bridges. I don't know, there's a very good saying in Telugu, but I don't know in Tamil. But when you cross the river, right? If the wooden thing that gives you lift to cross the river, if you dump it, will you come back? Right? You can't come back. So it's important to take care of the thing that gave you path. Similar to colleges as well. When you leave the college, don't burn the bridges, because college will have connect with everyone in the world. That's where the new companies come in. That's where the new talent comes in. Every year you leave now, right? But your juniors may be far, far better than you. That's the reason I always go to colleges and speak, because I know 90% of you is much better than me. Because you are looking at new generation. I didn't have Google with me when I was studying, right? But today you have more exposure. You can learn more stuff. So if I think I'm better than you, I'll be stupid. I know that you are better than me. That's the reason I need to be okay to learn from you. I should come and speak to you. That's I don't know if you have observed, right? I've been asking, like, please ask questions. I could have just spoken in left, right? I'm going to get the same credit, right? But the reason I wanted, even I told her, if you remember, ma'am, in the principal room, I said, I want to listen from the students more because I want to hear what's happening in their minds. So I can learn as well, right? That's important. So don't burn the bridges. That's the only response to me.
Sir, you are a very good employee, right? And you are having a good relationship with your boss. If the boss or manager says no, you cannot leave the organization, what will you do?
I'll ask him to promote me.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. That is what. See, these are all the questions on behalf of our students.
Yeah. So a lot of times, why the changes happen? Changes happen because you're not growing in the organization. Changes happen because of money. Most of the times. So if you're getting paid 40,000 in a company, if someone comes and says, I can give you 50, you immediately change. But that's it. That's not a good change. You should always change for career progression, not for money. Because if you go back and sit in the same platform and work for 5 more years, and if you leave the companies and work for another company for 5 more years, probably you'll be paid similar after 5 years. It's like depreciation, depreciation, right? So eventually you'll get to the same number. You do 20% more depreciation this year or next year, whatever it is. Straight line method, all of you are commerce students, right? So we use depreciation methodologies, different methodologies. But what happens? Eventually you get to the same number. After 5 years, you get to the same number. Even if I take 20% depreciation and then 10 in the next of years, or if I take 50% depreciation in the year 1, end of the 5th year, my asset value is going to be 0 anyways. That's a similar thing happens in career also. Even if you take jumps or if you don't take jumps, you're going to get to the same number. But the point is, I'm not talking about whether you have to be loyal or not. My point is, you need to think about whether it is an option of career progression or it's because of various other reasons you are leaving. If you're leaving for career progression, if you're leaving for a good reason, your managers will understand it and they'll let you go. And it happened with me. Otherwise, I would have not changed so many companies. And they accepted it happily. And I'll tell you interestingly, okay? I started with US taxes, worked in Hyderabad, immediately went to US, worked in US for a couple of years, came back to India. Then they asked me to go, they offered me H1 by the way. My H1 was in application, then that's when I left Deloitte and joined Franklin Templeton. In Franklin Templeton, I joined because they were bringing up new practice in India. So I wanted to build the new practice completely, and Deloitte was already established by then. So I thought of joining a new company which can give me opportunity where I can actually be the leader. Now I was an employee, but I wanted to be a leader. So I chose that option, and I spoke to my managers and said, okay, that's a good choice. So they got convinced that my answer was very pleasing to them. I did not say your company is not good. I did not say anything. I said, I think this is a good option for me because I can use my skill set, right? So then I left that company. But when I left Deloitte, I was a US tax person, but I moved into fund tax, which is a completely different field. After Franklin Templeton, I don't know if you're listening to me, but this is very, very important. You have to listen to this, okay? Deloitte, I was a US tax person. I left Deloitte, joined Franklin Templeton as a fund tax supervisor, which has nothing to do with my previous job. When I left Franklin Templeton as a fund tax supervisor, I joined Sun Edison in Chennai as a mergers and acquisitions specialist, which has nothing to do with fund tax. I left Sun Edison and joined Shell Group, Shell Petroleum, as a UK tax expert. I never did UK taxes in my whole life, but I joined UK tax team. Okay. Then I left Shell and went to EY for what is called TFO, Tax and Finance Operating Model Analyst, which has nothing to do with my previous jobs. Then I left EY and moved to Middle East in Saudi Arabia. I never did Middle East taxes. Then I left Middle East and joined UK now. Did you see my journey? Have you seen the similarities anywhere? But I've always progressed in my career. They hired me in a different role, which I have never done. Why do you think they would have hired me? Just think about it. Just think about it. People think people only hire experienced people, right? That's what the normal scenario. Don't you hear that, ma'am? Everywhere. I don't have experience. How can I do this? But I never had experience of this. But people hired me because they saw, that's where we started. People never see whether you have that skill or not. People always see whether you can learn that skill or not. That's the interviewing technique. In that 45 minutes, I sell myself like the finest TV of the world. I tell I'm LED, I'm digital, whatever. Yeah, I have the finest sound in the world. I show them that this is what me. Here is my story. And once I tell that story, if that story is applicable and pleasing to the audience, who is the interviewer, he hires me. If my story is not pleasing to the interviewer, he won't hire me. Simple, very simple. It is nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Especially corporates, I'm telling you, corporate world is super, super fair. They don't hire you because you came from someone. They don't hire you because of whatever reasons. And 100% they don't hire you because of your scores. They don't even care about your scores. Believe me, they don't care about your scores. You might get entry because of your scores, okay? You might clear your written test because of your scores, but they don't hire you because of your scores. I have myself rejected so many people who were state toppers. I rejected. Believe me, it happened. But I'm not saying they're bad. They were not good for that job. So it's about right job, right person, right fit. You have to be there in the right place for the right opportunity at the right time. That's how the careers are built. It's not about, okay, I'm a superstar. Do you think everyone will be Virat Kohli in a team? No, right? So it's not about the best team always. It's about the right team. You need somebody like Virat Kohli. You need somebody like Rohit Sharma. You need somebody like someone else who's not the same skill set. So the team needs different skill set. That's very important. If you don't crack that in the interview, you start boosting yourself. Oh, I'm a superstar. They don't hire you because they would have seen so many of you. You're getting my point? So don't try to. So the only tip from me to all of you, because you, especially third year students, okay, that's the reason I'm spending this time here. I know it's getting late for me also, but the reason I'm telling you is when you're sitting that 40 minutes interview, right, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, that's the game changer for life. If you don't, present yourself honestly, interview will easily understand. If you start boosting something else, which is not true, they know it very well. You might be thinking that I'm smart, I'm telling good things, but they would know how to judge you. So my only request to you is be honest. If you don't know something, people ask you something you don't know, please stand up and say, please, sorry, I don't know. And they'll appreciate it, okay? But what I see a lot of times, ma'am, is I ask about some philosophy in accounting, okay? They'll start telling me about story which is nowhere related to that, okay? Oh no, what happens on this, that. I like, okay, stop. What? How do you calculate depreciation? That's my question. And they'll be like, asset value, no, stop, please stop. How do you calculate depreciation? That's my question. So just as an example, I'm telling. If you don't know the answer, if you come back and say, sorry sir, I don't know the answer, we will be happy to teach you. Instead of telling the wrong answers. So be honest is my humble request to you. Especially third years, lift your hands. All of you are going to be in the market, right? Job market very soon. I don't know if you are going to the job market or somewhere else. But if you're going to the job market, my only tip is don't tell lies in the interviews. Okay, please don't tell lies in the interviews. Okay, that's very important. Yeah. Thank you.
I kindly welcome the respected Principal Dr. N. Buma ma'am to please felicitate the Chief Guest, Mr. Ganesh Kuppala sir.
Hari Om. Yes. Am I audible? Yes. I am mouth stuck. I could also find out from the faces of students that they are also mouth stuck. Am I right? Yes, ma'am. And it was awesome. A man who we have witnessed at a distance. We call them as Swayambhu. Swayambhu is self-made man, isn't it? We would have seen at a distance. I am very happy to see him very close to us. Sir, thank you so much for being here. And first I should thank you for giving such a wonderful, that is why I said, like, wherever he goes, he never thinks for himself. Our secretary will be looking for who will be the best person for our college, who will be helping us and who will be the spark. And he's just found a great find for us. And dear students, I would like to tell you a few things. What I have observed from yesterday night, Secretary sir gave the number yesterday night. From 9 o'clock only we got know each other. One thing I wanted to tell you, one is of course was talking about the hard work. He was talking about the positivity. I think we can understand the positivity behind the way he speaks. Have never, very rare people we have come across in our life. And to be so positive at such a young age, and beyond that one, whenever we converse in the phone, he was like, now if I start talking, he will stop talking. He will listen. I have heard somewhere and I have read somewhere that those who listen are the successful person. Very long back I have just read and somebody has told me. I am just first I am witnessing, whenever just I start, sometimes like I wanted to say when he is conversing and I wanted to share some point, immediately he stops, he listens to us, me, then only he continues. Sir, really we are amazed to see such a wonderful person. We are happy to acquaint you. But I assure you, there are a lot more Ganesh here, sitting here. And the girls, Ganesh, because it's a male, doesn't mean the girls are also there. Lot more students are sitting there. And I wonder, like all of the students should also listen to you, but for space, we will share this to all the link to the students also. So many people will come up, definitely, I am sure. I wanted to see you all succeed like Mr. Ganesh sir, how he has made his, but thanks to our college that they have shown all this, because I don't know whether when he studied his college, whether he had a mentor like this, we do not know. Sir, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. You can give a very big applause to him.
I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks for this session. I would like to thank the chief guest, Mr. Ganesh Kuppala sir, for taking out his precious time and coming to our college and enlightening the students' community. I would like to thank our respected secretary sir, Mr. AVM Shanmugam sir, for giving us the opportunity to welcome sir and giving us the wonderful informations. I would like to thank our respected beloved principal ma'am, Dr. N. Booma ma'am. I take this opportunity to thank all the faculty members and the students. Thank you all and have a wonderful day ahead.